Do you ever feel like you've wasted hours trying to write good quality SEO content that's actually going to add value to your website, get you found on Google and other search engines, and actually bring traffic into your website? And you probably looked at using ChatGPT, Claude, any of these other AI tools to start helping you out with that process. The problem that most people have when they start exploring this avenue to create this type of content is that they just start one-shotting the AI assistant, right? So what I mean by that is you'll develop a prompt like, hey, I want you to act as an expert SEO consultant. I want you to write me a piece of content that targets this keyword, make it 1,500 words, boom, there you go. And then we take that piece of content and then you take a look at it, and you then have to also spend a lot of time massaging that content because it's just not that great out of the gate, right? That's the problem that we're solving today. We're going to create this automation step by step. I'm going to give you the templates as well so you can download this for yourself and plug and play with this. But we're solving that problem because we want to create really good high quality content that is comprehensive, is detailed, and it gives us like 80 to 90% of what we need out of the gate to then just edit and then change the style where we need to before we hit publish. And the way that we do that is we break down the writing process into chunks using Claude. Because Claude, at the minute, Claude 3.5 is definitely the best when it comes to humanized writing style. So let me just walk through this step by step with you. We're going to use Airtable as our database here. We're going to create a form to make this super, super easy. We want to be able to submit our article idea for drafting by just putting in a keyword, the competitor that appears for that keyword, and we're also going to have a topic cluster as well. Once we hit submit, actually, let's do it now, right? So let's go how to automate my email inbox. I'm going to do a quick search on Google here to see who comes up for this. We've got Zapier here that comes up. This is a really good piece of content. Obviously, Zapier is an amazing company and it's got a very good domain authority. We're going to drop that in as the main competitor. And then I'm going to just select our automation agency topic cluster. We're going to click submit. And then what's going to happen is the Airtable is going to watch, this node here is going to watch for responses. It's going to get the information that's submitted, and then we're going to pass it over to Perplexity first. So we're going to use Perplexity AI to research and create the outline for the post. And again, we're not just throwing it a prompt here and saying, hey, create the post. No. First off, we want to use Perplexity to do some research on the search engines and figure out the best type of outline, the most comprehensive outline for us to create. Then we're breaking this down, right? We want an intro. So we're going to get Claude to write us a really good intro. Then we're going to get it to write the main content. Then we're going to get it to write some FAQs. Then we're going to get it to create a title. Then we're going to get it to upload it to a Google document. And then we're going to store that Google document back in Airtable so that we can then work on it from there. So this is the problem that we're solving today, guys. SEO content drafting, but not just boring AI generated content that has no depth or no value, right? We're going to create a very comprehensive post here that gives us a really good basis for us to edit on top of so that we can then publish. If you're anything like me, you've spent far too long in the past working on content drafts, working with content agencies and giving iteration and feedback and them not quite getting it right and being misaligned. This is going to solve the vast majority of that problem so that you can create draft content very quickly and then edit it to publish it. All right, so let's jump in, guys. But before we do that, let's take a look and see if this worked. We've got our Airtable database here. We've got our main keyword, the topic cluster, the main competitor, the pillar content. I'll come on to that separately. We've got the status, which is now drafted. Then we've got our Google Docs URL. And here we go. Here we've got our introduction. We've got our main piece of content here. We have our FAQs. So this gives us a really good baseline for us to be able to work from a content perspective, all right? And you can see it's very comprehensive. It's got a lot of information in here, and we can massage it from there and get it ready to publish. All right, so let's go back over to our make.com. Let's get stuck in and start from scratch, right? So if I'm going to come over to scenarios, I'm just going to click Save Changes there. Then I'm going to come into our project area here. I'm just going to click on Create New Scenario. So the first things first is we want to have an Airtable node and we want to watch for responses. So we want to be able to create a form to drop our inputs into, and then we want to trigger this scenario once that form has been submitted. So I'm going to click on Watch Responses. Then I'm going to click on create a webhook. I'm going to just call this SEO content drafting. I'm just going to call it YT for our YouTube today. Click on save. And now we've got a webhook URL for the form to send the data to. So now let's go over to Airtable and let's create a new table. Start from scratch. Then I'm going to come in here. I'm just going to call this SEO content tool YT. I like these pastel colors in Airtable nowadays. They never used to have these, I don't think. So I'm going to go with this nice blue one. Get rid of that. And then we want to have the main column as the main keyword. So we're going to set that as the main keyword. Then we want the main competitor. And I'm also going to make that a single line text. I'm just going to delete this and start this from scratch. We'll keep status in. We're going to have idea, drafted, scheduled, and then published, because you can use this for managing your essentially just managing the content that's coming through your pipeline, right? So let's keep that in there. And then you'll notice previously I had topic clusters. So the way that I like to structure website content for myself and any of the businesses that I work with, I kind of advise on this. And bear in mind, guys, I'm no SEO expert here, but I like to use the hub and spoke model of creating clusters of content. So you have one main piece of content, which would be the pillar piece of content. So for me, for example, a really easy example is I run an automation agency, an AI and automation agency. So we want to be able to rank for automation agency. So that is a topic cluster that we would have. So the main keyword there is automation agency, and that's the pillar piece of content is related to that main keyword and having everything in to do with automation agencies. We have that piece of content. But then you're going to have a bunch of other pieces of content that are related to that main piece of content. So it might be how to hire an automation agency. What are the average prices of an automation agency? What tools do automation agencies work with? So there's all these subcategories, subtopics that are going to connect to that topic cluster. So I like to be able to just suggest here what the topic cluster is. This is going to be a single select as well. Oh man, I can't spell today. Bear with me, guys. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to use automation agency because it's easier for me to give you an example. And then, like I say, we'd have AI agency. And then we also do design services as well, so B2B design services. So we design websites and landing pages and all that kind of good stuff. So they would be the three main topic clusters. So then we're going to create another field here for the Google Doc link. So once the automation has run, and then we have that Google Doc at the end with the content in it, we want to be able to link that back into our Airtable here so it's easily accessible. So I'm going to use URL for that. That's enough to get us started, right? So now we've got main keyword, main competitor, status, topic cluster, and Google Doc. If you remember, we want to be able to use a form to be able to trigger this automation. So I'm going to come to forms, going to click on new form, and then I'm going to click create a form. And the reason why I like to create a form like this as well is because it can be used by other people then, right? So it's not just us as a business owner. We can give this form to team members, or we can even give it to external people as well. If we're working with freelancers or anybody has an idea for a piece of content, they can use the form to submit their ideas as well and get drafts. So we're going to call this SEO content draft request. And then you can do things like, add a logo in here and all that kind of good stuff. So I'll just do that quickly. And then I'll also just add a cover image to make it look nice. Let's just use our Twitter header that we have. It's not going to fit perfectly, but you get the idea. You can use that however you want. All right, so now we've got all of the fields from our Airtable database in here, but we don't need all of them, right? So we don't want status. We don't want Google Doc, but we'll take these three. So we're going to come over here. We're going to click publish form just to save that. And then you can access this sharing settings here. So if you do want to be able to share it with anybody, then you can click on anyone on the web. Or if you do want to just share it with your team, you could also do anyone at the domain. So now we have our form. And if I fill this in, so test keyword, and then I'm just going to go test.com, and then let's just select our topic cluster as automation agency. I'm going to click submit here. And now if I come back over to our data, you can see now it's submitted the data into our Airtable database. I'm just going to delete those ones. How do we now get the form to trigger the make automation? And that's where this webhook comes in. So we're going to click on copy address to clipboard. We're going to come back over to, let me just clear those out. We're going to come back over to our form. If we click onto the form to open the editing panel, and then we're going to want to redirect to the URL. Okay, so if we click on redirect to URL, turn that on. I'm going to click on URL here, and then I'm going to paste that webhook in. And then really importantly, what we need to do here at the end of it is we need to put question mark record underscore ID equals, and then you can see we've got curly bracket here, record ID, like that. So we need to add that to the end of the webhook. And the reason why is because when this form now gets submitted, it's going to create the record, and then it's going to send that record ID to our make automation. So now that we've added in the webhook URL, we're going to click on publish form to publish these changes. And then let's do another test, right? So test keyword 2, test2.com, topic cluster automation agency. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on submit. And you'll see here redirecting to this URL with this new record ID at the end. And then it's going to say accepted. And that means that that information has passed through to Airtable here. So if I just run this module, I'm going to click on use existing data, because it's just received that information at that webhook. And then you can see down here now we've got a record ID to work with. So next thing we want to do is click on add module, come to Airtable. Then we're going to want to get the record using the record ID that's just been sent over. So we're going to click on our base. We're going to go to our table. We're going to use our record ID. I'm going to click on OK. Let's run this. Actually, let's just run once. Then we're going to come back over to our form again. We're going to send another test through. So we're going to go test keyword 3, test3.com, topic cluster automation agency, click on submit. It's going to send that information over. We should get an accepted. And now you can see that these two things have run. And now we've got our data here from Airtable, right? So we've got our main keyword, our main competitor, our topic cluster, and the ID and created date. Great. So that solves step one of this whole process. It's being able to grab our inputs and then get them into this automation so that we can start processing those into the pieces of content. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use Perplexity, as we mentioned earlier, to create a chat completion. The model we're going to leave as Llama 3.1. That's kind of the best one that we've got to use at the minute. I'm going to put the max tokens here as 2,000. And then I'm going to come into the message. This is where we're going to add our instructions to the Perplexity AI chatbot. So for the role, I'm just going to set user. And then I'm just going to grab our prompt from the existing example and copy and paste it in. So let me just get rid of these pieces here. So I'll just show you this prompt so that you can take a look at it. Now, every business is going to be different in terms of how they want to set these prompts up, especially the next ones when it comes to using Claude to actually create the content. This one's more of a research assistant, so I would highly recommend using something very similar to the prompt that I'm going to show you now, but you might want to tweak it for yourself. There is no hard and fast rule around like what the best prompts are here, guys. I just want to make that clear, by the way, because there seems to be a lot of people that are saying like, you should always use this type of prompt, you should always say this, you should always say that. In my experience, that's not the case. The prompts are for me especially, I'm constantly iterating on prompts. Like what I'm using today might improve tomorrow because we'll have a new way to structure it that's going to get a better output. So this shouldn't be a one and done thing. Once you start using this automation to draft the content, you want to be able to see where the prompts are potentially going wrong and where you might need to improve them over time. So I just want to make sure that that's something that's understood, because a lot of people will just say, yeah, just plug these prompts in and away you go. I don't think that's the case. So you're an expert SEO consultant. Your goal is to create a detailed outline for an SEO article that targets the main keyword. And then you can see I've got 2 quotation marks here. In the middle of those quotation marks, we're going to grab that main keyword that we got from the second node. You must always aim to create the most useful and engaging content possible for readers while also optimizing the article to rank for the main keyword. Visit this competitor URL. So that's where we drop in the main competitor. You should analyze the URL provided to identify where the content does well and the areas that it can be improved. Add that to the outline. Give the top 10 semantically relevant keywords and LSIs and entities from the URL provided. Include relevant FAQs and useful answers that can help the readers of this article. I'm going to click OK. So now let's click on Run Once, and let's go back and let's submit our form again. So let's actually do a real one this time. So let's say how to automate my onboarding process. So if we grab that, I'm actually going to come over to Google. I'm going to do a search for that. And in here we've got workato.com, onboarding automation guide. Really solid bit of content here that we are going to want to use. And again, we're not asking Perplexity to copy the content. We're just asking Perplexity to figure out what this content does well and where it can be improved, and then create us a new outline based on that. So we're going to come into our topic cluster as automation agency. We're going to click on submit. Then it should redirect. We'll get accepted. That means that the automation is going to now run. So you can see it's run. We've got the information here. And now Perplexity is running as well. And that should give us our outline in just a second. All right, so now we've got our outline. If we click on this little bubble here, let's go down to choices, message, content. And here we go. Detailed outline for SEO article, how to automate my onboarding process. Here's the introduction. Challenges of manual onboarding, benefits of automated onboarding, key steps to automate onboarding, tools and features of onboarding for onboarding automation, case studies and examples, best practices for implementation, conclusion, analysis of competitor content. So now we've got the strengths here, and we've got the areas for improvement. We've got the semantically relevant keywords, so onboarding automation, employee onboarding. So this is really, this is a really great outline to create an article from. And that's why it's really important, as I said previously, that we don't just ask the AI to just do it all in one go. It's just not going to be a good output, right? We want to stage this out. And it also gives us all of the FAQs here as well, right? So next we're going to use Claude. So now we're going to create a prompt with Claude. We're going to use Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is really good. I'm going to put the max tokens as 4,000. Now we're going to add our message. I'm just going to grab our intro prompt from here. And again, guys, you can tailor this to your business and your needs, and also your writing style, right? So this is just how I like to output content. You're an expert SEO content writer. You have a distinct writing style that is to the point, no fluff, no cringe or cheesy phrases. You have a tone that exudes deep expertise and knowledge on your topics, and you write conversationally but not casual. I always put that in because it seems to, whenever you say conversationally, it sort of goes too casual. You're responsible for reading the outline I'll provide, and writing a comprehensive introduction for the article that is SEO optimized. Here's the outline. So that's where we put in here now, where it says, here's the outline. We're going to come into Perplexity. We're going to go into choices, message, content. always write in British English, and then I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to rename this as Write Intro. And essentially we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to clone this. I'm going to call this one Write Main Content. I'm just going to change the max tokens on the intro, sorry guys, to 2000. I misstepped there. And then I'm going to create the main content as 4000. That's what I want. So we kind of want the same thing at the beginning, so it keeps the same tone. And you're responsible for reading the outline I'll provide and writing a comprehensive and writing the main content for the article. Do not write the intro or the FAQs. Make the content comprehensive and include all relevant LSIs into the body of the content. Where relevant, let's put that. Here's the outline, always write in British English. Then I'm just going to clone this again. I'm now going to have this as write FAQ. Again, the prompt, I'm going to strip this down again to 2000. I don't think you would ever use 2000 here, but just to make sure that it doesn't go crazy. You're responsible for reading the outline I'll provide and writing the FAQs only. Make the content comprehensive and include all relevant LSIs where relevant. Here's the outline, always write in British English. And then the final thing here, we're just going to add a little one on the end to just create a title for us. Analyze the outline that is provided and create the most engaging and SEO optimized title for the main keyword. And then we're going to drop our main keyword in. Always write in British English. So now we've got all of our writing prompts done. And now what we want to do is drop that into a Google Doc, right? So I'm going to come onto creating another module. We're going to click on Google Docs. I'm going to click on create a document. Then I'm going to name I'm going to add the name of the document as the text response of the right title here. One thing I'm actually just quickly going to do, guys, is just come back into this prompt and just add this extra piece in, which is only output the title, nothing else. Because it does have a propensity to say, certainly I'll create the title and, you know, do all that good stuff that we don't want. We just want the title. So that's going to be the text response of node number 8 here. And the content is going to be the following. So we're going to have the title, and then we're going to click on text response to put the title in. So the right title text response. Then I'm going to do a couple of return spaces. I'm going to put introduction, and then I'm going to come down to write the intro. I'm going to add the text response there. Then we're going to put main content, and then I'm going to add that text response. Then I'm going to go FAQs, and then I'm going to click on add that text response there, and then that's going to be our content. Now, obviously, you can organize this in your drive however you want. For the ease of this video, I'm just going to add it to just the main drive. I'm going to click on OK. So let's just run this and see what we get. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. I'm going to click on run once. And then if we go back over to our Airtable form, I'm going to type in automation, best automation agency. If I do that search, let's just go to best AI automation agency examples for 2024, right? So let's click on this. And then I'm going to go into main competitor. Topic cluster is going to be automation agency. Going to click on submit. And then we're going to wait for this to accept. That means the automation's kicked off, which is great. So I'll just pause the video here and then we'll come back when it's done. All right, guys, so now we can see that we've actually got everything completed. It's run through this whole process and we've got like a Google Doc at the end. If I just grab this web view link, Let's open that up. And here we go. All right, so now if we look at this, we can see we've got our title, we've got our intro, and we've got our main content and a bunch of FAQs down here. To be honest, look, the main content looks a little bit lackluster. It's just kind of like one block of text, right? So what we're going to want to do is come and edit the prompt so that we can actually make it follow headings as per the outline, and then also like include bullet lists and structured information where appropriate. So let's come back into here and let's edit our prompt, right? And this is what I was talking about before, where prompts are a constant iteration. So if we come back into our main content, you're responsible for reading the outline I provide, writing the main content for the article. Do not write the intros or the FAQs. Make the content comprehensive. Include everything where relevant. You must use the headlines given in the outline to create good structure. You should also use bullet lists and examples where appropriate to create a good balance between narrative, flow, and structure. I'm going to click on run once again, and let's see what we get this second time. So let's go back in here. I'm just going to view the data. I just want to make sure that we add the same keywords in. So best automation agency, and it was also this one, right? So let's go back over to our form, click done. That was our competitor, best automation agency. Click on submit. Now we've got accepted, and now it's going to run again, and we'll come back once it's done. All right, guys, so we've got the final output here. Let's have a quick look. Let's go to view web link. Let's open this up. We can see now we've got our title, and we've got our intro and our main content. And now this is structured. It's got a little bit more structure to it. It's got more headings. It's got some bullet points in here as well. So it's easy for search engines and for just readers to browse. So this is looking a lot better. I still think it needs a little bit of massaging, but like I said earlier, we want to always be working on our prompts and making them the best that we possibly can. So now all that we need to do is, actually, let's just double check this and make sure it's good word count. So let's go to tools, and from a word count perspective, it's decent. And then let's come back into here. We want to be able to feed this back into our Airtable, right? So I'm going to come back into here, and then I'm going to click on add node. We're going to go Airtable, and then we're going to click on update a record. And then all that we're finally going to want to do is add the base. Click on the table. Click on the record ID here, and we're going to add the record ID from the very first Airtable node. And then the only thing that, well, the two things that we're going to do is we're going to update the status. So we're going to turn the map feature off, and then we're going to add this to drafted. And then I'm also going to update the Google Doc with the web view link. Going to click on OK. And then if we click on run once, and we're just going to do this one more time, I'm going to use a different keyword this time. So I'm going to use how to hire an automation agency. We're going to have a quick look and see who our competitor is for this keyword. We're going to look at these guys here, twostallions.com. I'm going to make sure that this is some good content, which it is. Awesome. So then we're going to bring this back over. Where are we? Here we go. Main competitor. We're going to add that into automation agency. Click on submit. Going to wait for our little accepted here. All right, and then that should kick off our automation. It's already on its way. We'll take a look in a second once it's done. All right, and that's just run the whole way through, guys. You can see it's added it back into Airtable. So let's go back over to our Airtable. We're going to click on View Data. Now we can see we've got here how to hire an automation agency. This is our main competitor. It's updated the status to drafted. Now we've got our Google Doc that we can click on. Unlocking Marketing Success, the ultimate guide to hiring a top-tier automation agency. We've got our comprehensive introduction. We've got our main content, which is looking a lot better now. I think maybe I was using not the best keyword before, but like best automation agency. So yeah, for something like this seems to be producing much better content, which is what I was expecting from previous results. So yeah, it definitely needs to pay attention to what keywords we're using here. And then we've got all the FAQs and stuff in here as well if we want to add those in. So this is a great piece of content to get started with. Again, you're always going to want to edit this, add your own style over the top of it. Never just publish this out of the gate. It's not going to be right. Like, we always need to add our own human touch and our human style over the top of this and make sure that it's crafted in and it has the right flow. But yeah, try this out. You've got the templates down in the description below. Click on that. You can simply just drop your details in and I'll email you these templates over. It will include all the prompts and everything. And then you can refine those to make them the best for your use case. I would love to hear how your experience with this goes as well. Like, let me know if you have any prompt tips for this, if you have any ways of making this better. Drop them in the comments. I would love to see what you guys are doing with this kind of stuff so that we can all learn from each other. But yeah, I hope you found this one useful and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.